Hydra-Test. I'm Garrett Herning, and this is the HT-Sol 25 solenoid test system. This is our latest solenoid testing system available from Hydra-Test. And if you're a shop or a reman looking to purchase one of these machines, what I want to do today is go through kind of the functionality and some of the features and benefits this machine has so you can make an informed decision on why you should buy this machine above anybody else's. So let's kind of start out with kind of the operator panel in the front of the machine here, some of the different functions of all the different buttons and stuff on here. This switch here is our main power switch. Turns this on, machine turns on, takes about 15-20 seconds for everything to kind of power up, and then you're ready to test. This second button here, this is our pump. We turn this on, the pump in the machine comes on, which is going to supply the pressurized fluid to the solenoid that we're going to test. This on the side here is our emergency stop. So in the event of some kind of emergency, you need to shut the complete machine down all the way. You just hit that and the machine is dead. There's two panel meters here on the front of the machine. This first one on the top here is our tank fluid temperature. So there's a reservoir in here that we fill with ATF, and you can see there's a sight glass here to let you know how full it is. And what this measures is the temperature of the fluid inside that reservoir. I hit this button. Now I also have a setting because there's also a heater inside that reservoir, and this panel meter will control the temperature of the oil in that reservoir. So we can set that with this panel meter. We turn it on, and this will automatically heat that oil up and maintain that temperature. The second panel meter here is our system temperature. Now we have the oil hot inside the tank, but we also want to know what the temperature of the oil is by the time it goes through the hydraulics and gets to the solenoid. So that's not always going to be the same. You're going to have to run that for a little bit to get that oil temperature to come up and stabilize with the tank. So this tells you what the oil temperature is as it comes out into the test chamber here. So that's kind of a really nice feature because I can see what this temperature is so that I can run this until I get this to the test temperature that I want to test that solenoid at. And I know that that's the temperature of the oil going into the solenoid, not just the temperature of the reservoir itself. This switch here allows us, when I press it, to deadhead the pump when it is on against, it's basically just deadheaded. So what this allows me to do is when I set my regulator, my test pressure, I know that I'm setting it against a deadheaded, and it's going to be set the same every time. I'm not going to be varying this to try and make up for any losses that may go through a good or a not so good solenoid. I'm deadheaded up against here. I set my test pressure, say, to 125 every time. When I let this go, then it lets that pressure go to the solenoid. And if the solenoid is sealing good and it's holding it back, I'm going to maintain that 125. If there's some kind of leakage in there as a problem, you're going to see that drop. And that's the first indication that I have a problem with that solenoid. So kind of a one feature that we carry over right from our valve body testing machine, because it's the same thing built into this machine. A couple other nice things we have on this machine is on the top here we have this tray, and then we also have this arm on the side here. So these are places where you can put the laptop, or if you want to upgrade and go to a full computer with a bigger screen, we can do that with you. As standard, the machine comes with a laptop. This bench is a little higher than maybe you would normally have it on, so I've got the laptop sitting on this arm off to the side here. But normally you could set that up above here, kind of up out of the way, and what this arm would be for was to put a mouse and a small keyboard on there so you can enter your data and work on the machine. The biggest thing is we provide these as a place to put the laptop computer systems so they're up and out of the way of the test fluid, oil and stuff like that, because that doesn't work well with computers, as we all know. So I'll kind of give you some space to put that. So some other things the machine comes with, it would come with a drain hose. So what this allows you to do is there's a port underneath here. You pull this panel off, there's a ball valve on there, so you can connect this, open the ball valve. You can drain out the reservoir in here. So when you want to change the fluid, it makes it real easy. You connect this up, you drain it into a bucket, close that back off, disconnect this. Makes it very, very easy to change the fluid in the machine. We also supply a couple of extra test hoses, and when we look inside here in the test area in a little bit, you'll see kind of where they're connected, but we give you some extra ones in the event that those would get damaged or something like that. We also supply some generic electrical connectors. So these plug into the machine, and you've got a couple with some spade connectors on there, one with alligator clips. So you connect these to the solenoids. The solenoid blocks generally come with the dedicated harnesses that plug on the solenoids themselves, but in the event that you would lose those or maybe damage one or something like that, you still got these kind of a backup. They just come standard with the machine. What doesn't come standard with the machine is by itself, are the different test blocks. So you're going to purchase these separately, but based on the models that you're going to be remanufacturing or you're going to be looking at the solenoids on. So you can see here, here's a typical test block. This is for an RE5. The block has precision machine holes in there for the different solenoids. The holes are listed 1, 2, 3 on this particular one. There can be up to 6 holes or test holes in a block. The block is listed with what the models that it supports are. It tells you it's front, so this is the part of the block that goes towards the front of the machine. It's block L, so you can look on our index and see what block L covers. And then your input pressure comes in on this side, your output and test pressure comes out on this side. So we make it real easy, real simple to drop these in the machine and to use them. So that's kind of a typical test block. So now I'm going to spin the machine around. We're going to take a quick peek at the back and kind of see where the controller is and some of the electrical connections.